Greetings. I'm going to character assassinate Sargon of Akkad, or at least get the assassination on the way. And to begin, let's look at what Sargon himself wrote about character assassination like a year and a half ago. Character assassination is not always invalid. Sometimes people are deceitful, immoral, and unethical and act in ways to hide such behavior or motivations for personal gain. And that's basically how I see Sargon of Akkad. I'm gonna talk about more of the candid controversy, harmful opinions, and all of that. But let's first take a trip back memory lane, like because I used to like his anti-feminism videos like 2 years ago when they were still relevant and stuff. But then I saw this video back in the day. It's from February 16th, so it's like 2 years ago, almost exactly. And it's about like Andrew Anglin of the Daily Stormer wrote a hit piece on Sargon and claiming he supports Pakistani child rape. And I'm not really... Anglin's claims don't sound very credible, but anyway, it's just a couple of jokes Sargon made that sort of triggered me. And like, I'll show you what it is.
It's the Jews! And on that note, here's a word from my sponsor.
There's a need for a new world order.
Enough messing around. Let's get...
Okay, there's this one New World Order.
Apparently the word Jew
Henry
is
Kissinger,
absolutely absent from my vocabulary. What a coincidence. Here's another message from my sponsor.
Its task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created. It's a great opportunity.
So I don't really get his logic. Like, he knows that like Henry Kissinger, and there's been plenty of other David Rockefeller or whoever, like these rich influential globalists who talk about New World Order, which is a political agenda. Like, it's called it's a conspiracy theory, but it's not really it's because and of course George Bush Sr. in 1991 in his speech on 9/11, like September 11th, was it 1990 or 1991? He also talked about the New World Order. So it is clearly a political agenda by globalists, and there are plenty of conspiracy theories on what it actually is. And you can get I won't get into the different theories on what it means or anything, but it clearly is some sort of agenda, and there are Jews such as Henry Kissinger participating in it, and probably George Soros and whoever, and he is sort of mocking it. And I just don't get it. Like, he basically admits there is this agenda by the globalist Jews, globalist Jews and globalist Goyim, I think, for this New World Order, and he thinks it's somehow funny. I don't get it. I don't get where's the joke. It's because I understand in this world, if you criticize Jews, Israel for acting butchering the Palestinians or whatever, you easily get called anti-Semitic. And also a lot of people don't understand that there are certain Jews. It doesn't imply that all Jews are bad, or murderers, liars or whatever. But certainly some Jews use this cover of this victim card, when they can do something bad, and when people call them out on it, they just say oh, you're being anti-Semitic, that's why you're criticizing me, not because of their actual actions. So anyway, I understand that many people don't talk about these issues because they are very controversial and they can be really harmful for them. But if Sargon of Akkad is willing to
in this period when really a new world order can be created, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, he admits there is, like, Henry Kissinger said that, and presumably he, like, if he knows that, he can at least look into it and see there's like plenty of other like videos of other people saying similar stuff, like people, politically powerful people and rich people. And like, it's somehow like, yeah, this is funny, it's true, but it's funny, so we can ignore it. I don't get the logic, and this pisses me off. And like, it already back then, it struck me as like very intellectually, I don't know, schizophrenic and dishonest. And okay, let's move on. Then there's like this video from Milo Yiannopoulos, this homosexual Jew who is associated with Sargon of Akkad.
Ultimate example, what remains the big taboo in society, which is anti-Semitism, right? Most of the generation Trump, the alt-right people, the people who like me, they're not anti-Semites. They don't care about Jews. They may have some assumptions about Jews. They may have some prejudice about Jews, like the Jews run everything. Well, we do. The Jews run all the banks. Well, we do. The Jews run the media. Well, we do. You know, I mean, they're right about all that stuff. Now, what you do with that is the issue. But the reason they go on about
I don't even know where to start with that, so just go.
We do. It's a fact. This is not in debate. It's a statistical fact. You know, Jews run most of the banks. Jews completely dominate the media, vastly disproportionately represented in all of these professions. That's just a fact. It's not anti-Semitic to point out statistics. But you know, you seem to have you've missed what you agree with me on feminism. Like, it's not sexist to point out statistics. I'm suggesting to you, it's not anti-Semitic to point out that these things are true. Now, the anti-Semitism on the internet, which is really important, and I want people to understand this because nobody seems to. When Jonah Goldberg of National Review, whatever, is bombarded by these memes of, like, whatever it is, and anti-Semitic, take a hike, and all this kind of stuff. It's not because there is a gigantic outpouring, a spontaneous outpouring of anti-Semitism from 22-year-olds in this country. What it is that it's a mischievous, dissident, trolley generation who do it because it gets a reaction, right?
So at least he admits that Jews run everything in the media and the banks, and that's at least something. But he's like diluting the issue, saying like, oh, it's just these trolls doing it because they get a reaction out of it. And well, that's not true at all. Like, well, maybe for some people who don't understand better, but plenty of these Jews are responsible for like pushing mass immigration and LGBTQ agenda and wars and whatnot. So I think there is a very legitimate concern to criticize these Jews whom Milo admits exist. And his logic is sort of similar, like at least he's a bit more honest than Sargon of Akkad, but he's just like, yeah, it's somehow funny that there is this globalist agenda that is really harmful, and it's much older and powerful than feminism. But of course Sargon just criticizes feminism because it's the low-hanging fruit. But anyway, so in my previous video, I mentioned this stream that Sargon of Akkad made with harmful opinions, like it's over 2 hours. And I watched it, and then I watched it a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Before I begin with this, I should point out, like, finding this video. I remember this Henry Kissinger stuff video. I have to, like, I really had to do some work to find it, because I remember seeing this video back in the day, but I had no idea what's the video called, what it's about. I just remember there were these clips that really pissed me off. And yeah, it took me some hours to find this and had to go through a lot of videos. But anyway, so then there's this discussion between harmful opinions and Sargon of Akkad, and they're supposedly talking about Candid and the controversy, but, well, harmful opinions is, but Sargon is basically trying to diffuse the issue and hope it blows over. Like, he just wants, like, like, yeah, you have some legitimate concerns, but basically you should just shut the fuck up and we can go back to, like, you know, doing the same shit all over again, attacking feminists for being like obvious idiots, or, like, you know, talking about PewDiePie not being a Nazi, and not saying it's not like an issue that needs to be, like, shouldn't be commented on, but, like, this is much more important, this Candid stuff, because it shows the nature of a lot of people in this social moderate community. Anyway, let's start with the quote mining, as I'm pretty sure Sargon would accuse me of.
It's essentially turned into a purity test. And we found the people who are not pure. And
Not pure in what?
what do you mean not pure in what?
What purity of what? What?
Purity of ethical standards.
Right. And what are they? Why do they have to be pure?
Because people demand it. Like you said earlier,
So
people expect a higher level of ethics in this community.
yeah, that's a problem if you want them to like you and continue supporting you.
So this is, like, something that Sargon keeps harping on about, like, these purity tests. He also talked about it in his video on the skeptic community and stuff. And well, I guess you could say it's a relevant issue, except he does, like, he admits somewhere, if I can find the here, if I can find the bit where it is. So he admits that it's not really, like, at least he doesn't think that harmful opinions is doing this. Well, let's just listen to what he has to say.
Nah.
Well, more than that, it's, you know, suddenly you've pulled a string and it's unraveling and you have
Oh,
to follow
yeah.
it. Yeah, no, I'm not, like I said, I'm actually not criticizing you necessarily. And I think the videos you did were important, because I think it's important to know if there is an ulterior motive behind Candid. But I think that the ulterior motive lies with the people making Candid rather than the YouTubers themselves. And I only say that because I know the YouTubers. If they were someone who I thought weren't, if I thought they were that sort of person, you know, like the sort of people who use, like, I don't know, like extreme clickbait titles and then have a bullshit video or something, I wouldn't think that they were acting in a way that was more stupidity than malice. I would.
So he doesn't really think that harmful. He praises harmful opinions for making his videos, but he doesn't think, like, he's not criticizing him for making his videos, and so he's clearly not engaging in this purity test. So why the fuck does Sargon keep mentioning these purity tests? Because they have nothing to do with, well, basically harmful opinions. Like, he does somewhere mention that, like, he thinks, like, other people, without, like, defining who they are, this, you know, amorphous mass of people who are engaging in purity tests, but I don't know, he's basically saying nothing. And yeah, then he is concerned with the cohesion of the community and stuff like that. And yeah, I have, like, marked down some of these timestamps and stuff. That's why I'm looking for a certain bit.
I mean, maybe you're into it.
Maybe I am.
That was about the gay porn.
But what is the problem? Like, if there are a bunch of people who just have a problem with this forever commenting,
meaning Candid, like, have problem with Candid and all that stuff.
what does it do?
Okay, let me. I'm not worried about some AdSense or anything like this, or subscribers or anything like that. You know, I've never been worried about that. Basically, I think that I'm worried about the cohesion of the community. I think that's what I'm worried about, because when you get like, one of the problems in Gamergate was the GG Revolt guys who were constantly trying to put an autistic wrench into everything. They were trying to insert this into everything, even when it wasn't necessary. And that's something that I found personally annoying, but also I think it had a detrimental effect on the efficacy of what was going on. And I suppose now I am bringing it back to the community, the culture war aspect.
Yeah, this sounds just about like why I want to disassociate from all this.
And that's fine. I'm happy for you to do so.
Okay, so Sargon is concerned with the cohesion of the community, the social moderate skeptic community, and Harmful Opinion says that he doesn't want any part in it. So like, why is he like, he should, like, Harmful Opinions makes the point several times, so Sargon should just basically let go of it. But he keeps harping on, and he brought out like the example of the Gamergate revolt, and I don't know like the details of what the revolt actually did and stuff, but it's clearly it has nothing to do with Harmful Opinions or Candid. And later on, like, he gives the example of Laurie Penny, this like feminist who said something good about Breitbart, and then the SJWs are calling her a Nazi sympathizer or something like that. But I'll get back to it later. And yeah, okay, then there's another stuff about like this infighting or whatever.
All right, that's cool.
Here.
But yeah, what I was doing with the Skeptic Community video was just trying to suggest to people, look, we don't need to cannibalize our own, because that's what the SJWs do.
Yeah, but they don't need to cannibalize their own. Well, Harmful Opinion says that he's not part of them, so it shouldn't make any fucking difference. And it's basically an excuse, like, let's say, like, I don't know, I was in a political party, and I was running for the next election with my other people in my party, and then notice that, like, oh, this one guy in my party, like, he's actually a pedophile, and he's getting convicted for raping a child or something, and there's like, oh, we shouldn't cannibalize, we should support him or something. Like, yeah, there's some degree, like, okay, you shouldn't, I guess, if you consider you to be like in the same team with others, you shouldn't, like, bicker over pointless matters. But, well, this Candid thing is not a pointless matter. It's a really pretty big deal. Anyways, but Sargon is trying to make it out like it is like a very irrelevant issue, as I will now demonstrate.
I'm happy for you to do so, obviously. But what I'm saying is, do you not think there should be a certain point at which something becomes irrelevant?
Maybe it doesn't. It's up to people to do what they want. I'm not going to get upset about someone's particular.
All right. Well, we'll leave it then.
Like, what do you want to happen? What would ideally happen with this thing?
Well, for me, what I think should happen.
Or I don't even know how to phrase it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the thing is, right, I think the problem is making enemies out of people who weren't enemies.
Yeah. Don't make enemies out of people who weren't enemies, but... Well, actually, yeah, I guess his point makes sense, but, like, I don't think harmful opinions really started making the enemies. He just made one video originally about Candid, but then I think it was Mundane Matt who made some foul. I haven't seen Mundane Matt's video, so I guess I'm just trusting harmful opinions' claims on it, that it was like sort of foul, and he said that Mundane Matt seemed psychotic or something, but I think basically the Candid side started making enemies, like whereas harmful opinions was just criticizing something that seemed dubious, which is, I thought that the skeptic community is, their purpose is basically to do just that, but apparently no. Okay, but let's get back to this, like Sargon pretending like it's not a big deal, and just let it blow over and whatever. I
suppose is that if it's constant backbiting about an issue that is months past, then I mean that it's no different to what the SJWs do. And I'm just sat there thinking, well, what's the fucking point? Well, I mean, what relevance does it have like 6 months later? So, and yet people still
hang on. The ad that for example, the ad that I'm talking about was like less than a month ago.
Which one's that? Sorry.
Sean Head's ad.
Was it?
Yeah, her second ad was less than a month ago.
Was it? I haven't been following it that close.
I was just talking to you about this.
Yeah, but I didn't realize it was only a month ago. I thought it was ages ago.
January 13th.
Really?
So yeah, he's trying to pretend like it's some old news, and yeah, we just ignore it and let it blow over. But like harmful opinions points out, it like Shoe on Head made a video about it like a month ago in January, like the last video she made about it, and yeah, it's not gonna blow over. No, fuck no. And yeah, then there's like, well, there's this one bit where Sargon really, I don't know, reveals what's kind of like a disingenuous prick
and
he is.
Like, 6 months down the line, if someone's like, yeah, but what about Candid? Oh, fucking hell, Jesus Christ, I don't know, man, what? And I'm just personally sick of hearing about it.
Are you bothered by the ads that keep coming out? Is that annoying?
No, not at all. It's more.
So the ads are fine, but criticism of it is annoying.
Well, I don't even recall seeing an ad for it recently.
Blair White just released one a few hours ago.
You and I both know exactly what I'm talking about.
Not really.
Yes, you do. And you're asking me these kind of questions in order to try and lead me into a place where you want to trap me. And I know what you're doing. So let's not.
I don't want to trap you. I don't want to trap.
Come on, let's knock it off, and let's just talk like reasonable people, okay?
You don't think it's reasonable to not be bothered by internet comments?
Do you think that I said that?
No, I'm asking you.
Well, why are you asking me if you know I didn't say that?
Like, he's accusing, like, yeah, you're trying to trap me, and you know what they are doing and whatever. Like, I don't know, is he a fucking psychic? Like, I don't know what they're talking about, so I don't know if they're gonna make it public. Please explain to me. But because he's not really, he's just, Sargon has no real arguments for anything except like, he has one argument, like this Shoe on Head and also Armored Skeptic, another shield for Candid, they are his friends. And okay, I just noticed that like my cursors here like shining and stuff. I think I got rid of them. So yeah, Armored Skeptic and Shoe on Head are his friends and part of the same community, so he wants to protect them. Like, okay, that's at least some like a humane concern, but yeah, but that still doesn't excuse it that he is like, he's protecting people who have dubious associations and have like acted immorally and so on. So it's not like there's like I guess there's some limit, like how far you're supposed to protect your friends, and like, okay, notice that there's something good, like your friends did something bad, so either like, maybe he should like suggest them to like apologize, admit their mistakes or something. And yeah, like the thing is like, as far as I know, Sargon of Akkad, like at least he said it that he doesn't, but I don't really trust him. But still, I guess I will believe him on this issue until proven otherwise, that he has no associations with Candid. So yeah, I guess that's true. And he's not really contributing much to the conversation, even though he is pretending to contribute. So he should just shut the fuck up. Like, let his friends, these, skeptic community members who are involved with Candid, he should just let them defend their own actions instead of like putting his dick in the door or whatever, because it's not his place. Like, if he's not a shield for Candid, why is he still protecting these shields for Candid? Like, it's just stupid basically for him, because he's just ruining like his own reputation by doing it as well. Like, he should just stay the fuck out of it. It shouldn't concern him, but clearly he believes like he is this great leader in this movement in culture war or something, and it's retarded. Okay. And then there's like okay, let's jump to this one. He's talking about shoe on head.
Yeah, just ignore it.
No, it's not that. That's the thing. It's constant different things. And this is why, and I hate that I have to do this, but I've taken to blocking certain commenters who just everything they say is just them taking something out of context and just having.
Oh fuck! Wrong minute. Sorry. I done screwed up.
Look, I'm not articulating myself well here. I think it's important to remember that the people you're dealing with are individuals who are not connected to some vast network or organization or something like that. And I think that there's very little charity given to these people. And I'm not sure it's even fair to hold Shoe on Head to the same standards as Kotaku.
What standards are those?
Well, the standards of a normal journalistic integrity. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying she shouldn't. I'm just saying, is it, like, Shoe on Head is a person with a camera and a YouTube channel who got really popular really quickly. I can see how people would make mistakes, and I can see how it would be very difficult if you then had thousands of people all coming at you with the same thing. I can see how it would affect you.
Maybe. But so? What do you want to happen? What do you want? That doesn't mean anything to me.
I know. But it means something to other people. And it's
like the people you or I would typically talk about in videos get that all the time, but
they do.
I don't see much concern.
And they mass block because, I mean, everyone's just human at the end of the day. I mean, I'm not arguing for any kind of censorship or anything like this. I'm just saying, if we have to,
You'd just rather they didn't say it in the first place.
No, not at all. No.
So you want them to say it, or you're okay with them saying it?
Absolutely. But there's a certain tone and tenor in which you say it that definitely has an effect, I think. And I think that if it's someone that isn't obviously a cancer on society, then maybe we don't need to go after them in harsh terms.
So basically, because Shoe on Head is this, ditzy little girl, she shouldn't be criticized. and like I think harmful opinions, and also Johnny Fox Rocks has pointed out like it's sort of like Gamergate all over again, like, oh, it's cyberbullying because people are criticizing a woman on the internet, and now Sargon of Akkad is white knighting for Shoe on Head because she done screwed up, and people are calling her out on it, and oh, don't be harsh, she's just a human being, oh, boo-hoo. Like, well, for one, like the first thing, like, okay, if she screwed up, and I think Sargon said it somewhere that sort of like, yeah, she screwed up, but like, okay, she should apologize, because like, I'm not a Christian, but I do believe in the Christian idea of like forgiving somebody's transgressions if they repent. But has Shoe on Head exhibited any behavior of repenting or like trying to fix the things that she did? Because like at first she like harmful opinions is put out. She made this shilling video for Candid, like this sponsored advertisement, and then later she made a video where she said that it was a one-time deal and she is not associated with Candid anymore or anything. But then she made another video saying that, like, another sponsored video for Candid, and then she made like made the video private where she admitted that she has no connection to Candid anymore. So clearly she is lying, or she's hiding it. So it doesn't like, oh, she's just human. Like, well, yeah, she's human, as in human beings can be very corrupt. And yeah, it's not just the oh, she screwed up and she's trying to make better, because she has, as far as I've heard, she hasn't done anything to try to, like, you know, repair the situation or apologize or anything like that. So I have no fucking sympathy for her. Like, if she cannot handle criticism on her YouTube channel, maybe she shouldn't be fucking on YouTube. Like, she should just delete her channel and go back to, you know, or start doing makeup videos and not talking about, like, you know, real world issues. And yeah, and then there's another pretty much at the end where he, like, Sargon is talking about this skeptic community and how they're just people, they are not
to this. And I guess the thing I want to try and explain to people is that, like, people on YouTube are not idols, and you shouldn't make idols of them. People on YouTube are very, very normal people most of the time. And at least, you know, the people I know are.
So they're just people and they make mistakes. Oh, be nice to them. Like, I thought he was like, this was a political movement with culture warriors talking, you know, fighting against the horde of the SJW. But like, oh, once you know, somebody actually says something that hurts your feelings, you're gonna like retreat and like, oh, please don't be nasty to me. Like, it's bullshit. Like, they should start making some fucking, you know, they should stick away from politics then, if they, you know, they cannot handle the criticism for when they actually do something. And it's not just that they screwed up, they did something immoral. And like, and yeah, one point was that Sargon made was that, like, you know, maybe they didn't, I don't remember where the quote is, but maybe they didn't know who the like what the deal was with
Sounds like
with Candid, like, you know, about the censorship bot. But like, then they mentioned the list of talking points that Candid gave to these YouTubers, what they should
free
talk
speech.
about.
You
and
need
the
to
list
highlight the
says,
fact that Candid does use artificial intelligence. One, in the beginning of your video, you should describe the Candid app in your own words. the features, what it is, what makes it different, why you love the app, etc. Please note, if you describe the app with terms like free speech, you need to highlight the fact that Candid does use artificial intelligence and human moderation to remove things like trolling and hate speech. The app is about open discussion but doesn't allow abuse. Focus on anonymity, ability to have great, honest discussions, and the privacy of anonymity.
So there is this like, if they made this deal and they got the money from Candid, these YouTubers, they should be able to read that. It says clearly that it says clearly that there is this censorship app basically there, or like AI in Candid, and like it deflates Sargon's argument that they didn't know, and also like his argument that it's basically a misunderstanding of corporate culture, and corporate culture is bullshit, and he's trying to take attention away like from the mistake of these YouTubers, or like the immoral behavior of these YouTubers. But even like, but it's not really, that is not Candid's fault, because Candid, suggests, like he tells them, like, you should, if you talk about free speech, you should also mention about this app. But apparently many of these YouTubers did not talk about the AI that censors their discussions. So this isn't Candid's fault, at least not as much as the YouTubers who chose to ignore it, unless like maybe they got like a different kind of memo, like maybe they sent this memo to SJWs, but like these so-called free speech advocates got another memo. I guess that's possible, but source required to like say if that was true or not. And okay, I guess I'll point out this. I mentioned Sargon mentions Laurie Penny several times, but it's not really
there's behavior and then there's
to do with
criticism.
anything.
Now, I totally agree that you should be as critical as you like about anything you want, and that includes me, my friends, anyone else, right? I don't care, But there comes a point where this becomes a purity test, and then it becomes the SJWs cannibalizing Laurie Penny for even deigning to write about Milo Yiannopoulos. That's a danger that I think that
they want her out of their group.
Sorry?
They're excluding her from their group.
I think it's worse than that, actually. I think it's actually worse. I think that they're attacking her to enhance their own status within the group. I don't think they're necessarily trying to cast her out.
Right.
And I think that a lot of people also do this. And this is my problem with purity tests, because the only objection is, and not necessarily in the case of Shu, but in the case of Laurie Penny, the objection isn't that she isn't a feminist, and it's not that she's, not the things she says. It's that she is not them enough. And
he said that not necessarily in case of Shu. So this Laurie Penny and SJWs cannibalizing themselves because of purity tests or whatever, it's not related to Candid, it's not related to Shoe on Head. So what the fuck, like, why is he bringing it up? And like, okay, you could say that it's just like, it's one example, and maybe it's a 2-hour discussion. Not everything has to be relevant.
Like,
but
Laurie
mentioned
Penny
it
being chewed out by
times.
Antifa for being a liberal fascist sympathizer was definitely it. And I'm just concerned about, like, generally, and this isn't just for like me or my community on my channel, or like your community on your channel, or like,
I think it depends on what position you want to be.
It's like, it has nothing to do with harmful opinions, Shoe on Head or Candid. This purity test, witch hunt, whatever he calls it, like so why is he bringing it up? Like, what is his actual argument? Because he's just talking about stuff that sounds like, he is so concerned, but at other times he's saying like, yeah, I like conflict and whatever crap. But Sargon is not saying anything. He is not contributing. He's not trying to like build bridges between harmful opinions and his friends in the skeptic community. He is not refuting harmful opinions as videos. He said that, oh, I'm happy, I like you, I'm happy you made those videos or something, but he's just like he's just like a bitch, because like clearly he does have some sort of, he does not like that what harmful opinions has been doing, but he's too much of a coward to say it to his face, or well, not to his face because they were on this hangout or whatever. But anyway, this is his basic, this is Sargon's
it's called the internet.
Yeah, I know. But I guess you don't shit on your own front door, That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense to do it to yourself. But anyway, I
think that's how people feel about the idea of paid counter videos. The people who believe in community in that way view that as shitting where you eat.
Yeah, so it was basically some sort of warning or threat towards harmful opinions, and don't shit on your front door. And like harmful opinions has said many times, he does not consider it his community. And like he just pointed out, harmful opinions pointed out that making counter videos against him is like shitting on where you eat or on your front door or whatever, because like, yeah, if they did consider harmful opinions to be part of the skeptic community, they shouldn't accept money from this corporation to attack one of their own. And yeah, so he's completely right. Like, it's not, harmful opinions did nothing wrong. Like, at least so far what I've seen, it's the other skeptic community, Sargon, who is just this gatekeeper who is trying to just say, like, he's talking crap, saying very little except like, yeah, no infighting. That's all he can say. That's the only clear message he wants, and he wants to protect his friends. That's another, like, but basically he concedes to pretty much everything harmful opinions has to say about Candid. But he's just, so once again, like, that's why I had this couple of videos in the beginning of Henry Kissinger, not this one, yeah, Henry Kissinger on the New World Order, and then Milo Yiannopoulos admitting that Jews have they are, they control banks and media and stuff. Because although I don't think this has anything to do with Jews, or maybe some people who work for Candid are Jews, but that's another issue. But well, okay, Sargon's behavior is very Jewish, because like he's one thing one moment and another, but like he's admitting, okay, yeah, I'm trying to focus. Sargon is admitting basically that, yeah, Candid is suspicious and is crappy corporate shit, and harmful opinions did nothing wrong. But then again, he's saying like, yeah, you're correct about all of this shit, but just ignore it. Just with the New World Order, like, yeah, the New World Order political agenda exists, but ignore it. Or Milo is like, yeah, Jews control all these important institutions, but just ignore it. Like, this is like some, I don't know if even George Orwell came up with this. Like, this isn't even, or I guess maybe you can say it's doublethink, but it's not like even newspeak. It's just like, these are the facts, but you should ignore them. Like, I don't know, I'm too dumb to understand. But anyway, I'm done with this video. Okay, I don't want to quote mine this video anymore, as like Because like if Sargon of Akkad were to watch my video, I have no idea if anybody will ever watch this video, but in case he does, like I guess he would accuse me of being autistic and quote mining, and I really hate this, well, accusations of being autistic. Like nowadays it seems like whenever somebody is interested in details, like pertinent details in complicated issues, you are being autistic, or you are being a conspiracy theorist because you care about facts and corruption and improper behavior and whatever. But okay, let's like get slowly towards the conclusion of this video, like why this matters, all of this Candid scandal. And Candid is clearly some sort of big operation, because there are at least dozens of YouTubers, many of them are quite big and influential, who have been paid by Candid to shill for them. Like not only like to make sponsored advertisement videos, but also they have like been hired to do counter videos against harmful opinions, and even to investigate his family. And this is like one thing that Harmful Opinions pointed out in his video here, that like Sargon didn't like he's concerned for like the hurt feelings of shoe on head or whatever, because of the negative attention she got because of her immoral activities. But he is not concerned that he's getting like Bindu ready of Candid is hiring people to look into what's his name, Harmful Opinions' family, like his mother and all of that stuff. Okay, let's just play the video, like that bit.
If Sargon was right when he responded to me explaining that by saying, it's just a misunderstanding of corporate culture, that's just how it works, doesn't change it for me. Let me spell it out again. On October 9th, Bindu Reddy, the CEO of Candid, tried to mess with my mom, who uses Twitter, saying that someone's been sending her information about my mother's account and that it looks like it's my alternate account. I'm sorry if this sets too high a standard for the skeptic community, or if this makes me someone who's trying to impose a purity test, but you fuck with my family, and I will try to fuck with you forever. I then later learn that this motherfucker, the CEO of Candid, actually offers people rewards for tracking me and what I'm doing. Because one of the people she was going to give a reward to for feeding her information came to me and let me into his account so I could see. Did whoever was trying to feed her information about my family get a reward? I will not ever tolerate that.
So, unless he's lying, but what I've seen so far, Harmful Opinion seems credible, whereas Sargon of Akkad and Shoe on Head, they are the liars, they are being duplicitous, like he's saying it clearly and understandably, whereas Sargon of Akkad is just, dancing around the issue and saying very little, except that forget about it, it's old news, let's move on, let's, I don't know, attack the feminists or whatever, because that's the only thing he knows about. Like, talk about the one trick pony, whatever. And so okay, let's like this. I don't know. I just like the ending of this
is
video.
The kind of person who, when he's going to talk with someone who he knows has autism, like I said, I've told him before, gets a screen capture of my mother talking about autism, and coincidentally, that's going to be in one of his tweets on the day before we talk, in a discussion where he's going to make sure to repeatedly talk about how autistic I'm being. Which is fine, Sargon can go ahead and do that, but holy shit, stop pretending that you're not my enemy. So, for the people
So at least he's admitting now that Sargon is his enemy, and like that's one thing in this discussion between him and Sargon that I disliked with Harmful Opinions. He was being like too polite and diplomatic. He should just call out Sargon of Akkad for the piece of shit that he is. But I don't know, maybe he didn't feel like it and he's so British even though he says he's American, but whatever. But but at least now he admits that, Sargon of Akkad and the septic community, they're his enemies. And well, I feel the same way, like, and I'm not like doing this video to like white knight for Harmful Opinions. Like I said in the beginning, this is to character assassinate Sargon of Akkad, and I'm not like expecting it to happen with one video, but like I don't know, I like, I guess you can say like what motivates me to do it, because like I guess I just hate these false prophets who build themselves up to be something that they're not, and like, and well, like, he's not like Sargon is not clear, like what is the skeptic community for? Like that was my original opinion when I started making videos about the skeptic social moderate community, is that are they like these social activists who are trying to, and culture warriors, or are they just a bunch of people making entertainment videos? And it's like they can basically choose whichever like option they want when it suits them. Like when they're calling out feminists and stuff, like, yeah, we are doing, they're like, Alex Jones, and yeah, we have to fight the globalists, we have to fight the feminists. But when, when actually they stumble onto something, big, then they can just like, oh, I'm just a little YouTuber, I'm just having a few laughs, I'm trolling people, you don't have to worry about, it's like, it just means like they don't have much backbone. But okay, like he did point out, like this guy Harmful Opinions, he did point out that Bering helped him in exposing Candid and like Undoomed. Like I think he had this like a non-disparagement clause waived, like basically that says that he cannot criticize Candid, but I guess Undoomed can. So like there are some people in this septic community that are decent, that I can, I have no problem with if they like, I can understand if they were offered a lot of money and they sort of jumped into it. Like, like I said, I can forgive people for making mistakes, but you have to admit your mistake and say like, okay, I'll try to do better next time or something. But clearly some of these people are not like that. They just try to hide their mistakes, and they try to pretend like, people who call them out on their mistakes or wrongdoings, they're trying to frame them as the bad guy, and that's something that I cannot abide by. And it's like well, Sargon of Akkad, he's like pretending to be that, like, I'm not pretending, but like his worldview seems to be like, there's this great war between the SJWs and these, social moderates. And without these social moderates, this, army of zombie goblin orcs would just take over the West and, destroy everything. And only people like him are standing between the SJWs and complete destruction. But like, well, or like, feminists or whatever, but they're like, yes, I agree, I despise feminism and social justice warriors, cultural Marxists, all that. But it's not that, they've been like on top for maybe 10 years, but there is like this greater globalist agenda. You can call it New World Order, you can call it globalism or the military-industrial complex, and basically I think that feminism and all of that, it's like more like a distraction for like, you know, these reasonable people who notice that feminism is insane and causes a lot, you know, all sorts of troubles, so that we'd waste all of our energy fighting against the you know, social justice warriors, most of whom are complete idiots, and they couldn't have arisen to the like position that they are in if it wasn't for people who aren't complete idiots, like, you know, this guy. And I'm not saying, well, it's more like George Soros or something. And yeah, it reminded me of one more quote. I guess I can end with it and my comments on this Sargon's quote from this interview. Where is, or discussion, or whatever you call it.
People up at all. I mean, like on something that isn't necessarily even like concrete. But
if we're talking
like,
purely
for example, I think what people in Pizzagate are doing is really irresponsible. They don't have any solid evidence, and yet this has turned into a huge.
Well, that's accusations of child abduction and things like that.
The point is, there's no solid foundation to it, and
I don't think that's the main issue with that. I don't think that's.
So he is like, he's basically poo-pooing Pizzagate, and like, yeah, I can understand and respect if somebody says like, I'm not convinced by the evidence of Pizzagate, I'm saying, but he's basically saying like, yeah, people are just, you know, crazy conspiracy theorists for believing in Pizzagate. And I guess you could say like, yeah, I do think that there is some sort of pedophile ring related to Pizzagate, but of course I cannot be 100% sure, like I don't have all of the answers, but like when you actually look into it, like the Podesta emails he's saying, playing, well, I'm not sure if it was Podesta who wrote this, but like, you know, playing dominoes on pizza or spaghetti or something like that, like, well, maybe it may not be a reference to pedophilia or anything like that, but it's clearly code for something, and I think it's worth finding out. And like, you know, James Oliphant is the owner of Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria. He's like one of the, you know, among the 50 most influential people in Washington, and he's hanging out with all of these prominent Democrats. So like, at least I think there is some sort of political corruption if it doesn't have anything to do with pedophilia. But then there's like these Instagram pictures of, you know, children being tied up and weird stuff, like okay, like basically to cut the story short, like even if like if there is no like pedophile ring or anything like that related to Podesta and Comet Ping Pong, it seems like there is like, it's a red herring, at least. Like the people want you to think there is this pedophile ring to like divert your attention away from something else. And if that's the case, it's still worth looking into, because there is some sort of criminal operation here somewhere. But I think Sargon of Akkad is just too dumb to look into like real world issues and like how you know, dark and twisted our world is. And like pedophilia is one of those things, and yeah, and there like, yeah, there is like a lot of like, you know, you should be very critical when you look into Pizzagate. I do think that, like, I don't know, like, if like those pictures leaked by FBI, allegedly leaked by the FBI with the, you know, this the triangle with the spiral inside and all of these, like that they are pedophile logos. So I'm not sure if it is like it seems genuine, this PDF that everybody has seen and shown on their videos and websites, but I guess it could be some sort of fake to mislead people, but like I said, I think there is still something suspicious in the whole affair, and it should be looked into. But like Sargon isn't promoting critical assessment of it. He's more like, he's just, like, oh, it's too complex, don't look into it. Like, he doesn't fucking know what the truth is, so he shouldn't assume that it's nothing. But yeah, it is because I don't know, Sargon is just a fucking fraud. Like he presents himself as some sort of like great intellectual, even though I think I recall him saying in one video, like, I don't think of myself as an intellectual, but he presents himself to be like, this. And I think in this video he says like, oh, I've read so many books and done so much research for my channel, but well, he still doesn't really understand anything. He just knows how to call out feminists for the obvious bullshit. And yeah, I want this skeptic, social moderate. I want to see the community burn. I want to see him exposed for the fraud that he is. And of course, there are some decent people there, like Bering seems okay then, and Undoomed, if they at least, like, they sort of repent their actions with Candid and try to make it better. So that's, that's good for them. But like him, who is like hiding these shills and the shills themselves, like, I have no sympathy for them. And I just, I'm with Harmful Opinions. I want to see this community burn.